It's game week. Tottenham Hotspur versus Burnley at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Spurs in a horrendous reign of form at this precise moment. 4 losses on the trot. Can Ange Postecoglou and Tottenham get back on track? This is the Tottenham Burnley PRTvSpurs preview show. Good evening and welcome to PRTvSpurs, Paxton Road TV. And it's Friday evening. As you can tell, the hot weather's got to me today, so I haven't got a clue what's going on. But as I said, welcome to PRTvSpurs, Paxton Road TV, your preview show for the game against Burnley tomorrow, 3 p.m. kickoff. And joining me to do the preview is, as always, Mr. Sam Spurs for life. Good afternoon, Sam. How are you?
Oh, I didn't like that screen what you had there, but it's all good now. Yeah,
You didn't like it or you liked it?
No, it was too close. I was like, oh,
Yeah.
I've got a bit close to the camera there, but
Yeah.
that's better. No, I'm good. I'm good. It's been a beautiful day, as we can tell. And yeah, just trying to get my camera sorted out because it's on my phone. But yeah, we're all good at the moment in time. So yeah, not bad.
Good. I hope the weather is as lovely as it has been today here, as it is wherever people are watching it from, and wherever you're watching it from, or whatever social media you're watching it on. Please make sure you follow PRTvSpurs, Paxton Road TV, and give us a massive like on the stream. So 4 games on the bounce we have lost. And now comes a home game against Burnley, who are struggling and need the points massively if they have any chance of survival in the Prem. I know it is what it is, but I'm going to ask this question. It's a massive game tomorrow for both clubs in different ways.
Yeah, in different ways. I don't think we want a record like having 5 losses on the trot. That's one thing. In terms of what it means to us, I don't think there's much on the game because of the form of Manchester United. It's very unlikely that anybody else is going to catch us for that fifth place. We're very unlikely. They've got to win all their games realistically. I'm not sure they're going to do that. I know it's possible, and having seen us lose 4 games in a row, I only think it's possible. But I don't think they're going to make that amount of games. But we'll see. But no, you know what you said earlier about it's Friday. I kind of lost. Don't know what I'm doing. It seemed like that was Ange in the press conference to me today. It seemed a bit strange. I don't know how you felt about it.
I think he's getting peed off with the questions, and I think he's peed off with the 4 losses, and I think in the manner of the way they've lost, and he knows the questions are repetitive and, you know, what you're going to do about it kind of thing, and I think he's sort of getting a bit pissed off. So I think he just wants the season to end. He wants to go to Australia to play again in his hometown or home city and just get a bit of love back. Not that he's not lost any love here, but he has. But I think he's just getting a bit pissed off now with the way the season has sort of pondered away, and I don't think he was expecting that. So I think he just wants to go back, have a clear out, do what he's got to do, and then just start afresh next season. And I think we're going to get this now from him between now and the end of the season, because he's going to get asked a lot of questions, and there's nothing more he can answer, to be fair.
Well, there's a slight delay. Let me know that I can have to go on to 5G or whatever, but it seems right at the moment. I don't know, Sid. I think it's and the way he was in the press conference today. He he got asked about what he did in the aftermath of the last game at Liverpool, when he'd done that and he'd done that, and then he seemed to say, "Oh, I don't really remember that. I don't know." So, yeah, it was kind of a case of we need to ensure that we perform tomorrow. That's the only thing we've got to do. We've got to make sure that we perform. We've got to do what we haven't done in the last 4 games or so is fight, you know. But we're gonna have to. We're gonna have to fight tomorrow, and that's the main agenda. We're at home and it's against Burnley. Must win.
Yeah. No, I didn't do her on the juice. I was all right. I was just shutting up that noise.
I was like, he's gone. He didn't even put the thing on the screen thing. He's gone.
Do you know what? I was going to ask you that question. He was asked in his press conference, what did you mean when you went like that and you went like that? And he said, I can't recall. What does that mean, Sam?
I think he doesn't want to answer the question. Because I don't know if he must know what he meant at the time, but it could have been emotions. It could have been I don't know what he was saying, because you can take it in 2 ways. You can say, think about it. This is what we're doing. Kind of, this is where we are. I know we've lost 4. I'm just surmising what I can kind of take from that. Still have heart. Stay with me. Stay with me. But he knows they're not stupid. They know the fan base at the moment is very, what's the word, on edge. Well, it's toxic, but it's a bit on edge. It's on edge because I've watched quite a few different shows now, and there's a very divided opinion. I don't think anybody wants to go for another rebuild. Let's put it that way, because this is what we're effective. If we get rid of a manager now, we're going to have to get rid of players, and it's all that cycle of events again, different styles. So we've really got to at least see this manager for the whole of next season. That's my opinion, regardless of where we are at what point. But it doesn't work like that, football. It doesn't. So if he gets off to a bad start next season, based on the back end of this season, pressure's on me.
Yeah. Do you know what? We sort of was, me and my boy were watching it, and we went both like, we looked at each other and went, how can you not recall that? That has been talked about the whole week. There's pictures of it. There's everything. And then you're saying, what do you mean? I don't recall that. And if you're like someone, like we just said, you've been on some streams and whatever, some people are already talking about him. They're now going to be on the, what do you mean? What is this guy on? Get him out. You know what I mean? I've got nothing against that. And I think he's just dodging the question, because he obviously thinks, yeah, if I answer that question, I'm going to get another 103 questions on top as follow-throughs, and I don't want to go into it. I done what I done. Everyone's seen it. I don't need to talk about it. You know what I mean? And you know what the press is like, because there's some of them in that press conference, you know, they're just gonna bite at him until he, obviously, what Juice says, does a runner.
But the thing is with him, and I think he's a very honest manager, and I don't think he lies per se. No, obviously he might sometimes expand the truth or not give too much information away, but I don't think he's like some managers. Like, I'll give an example. Erik ten Hag, he lies. He blatantly lies. He tells lies when his team's going through certain things. This manager kind of puts stories on things. So when he's asked that question, he obviously knows what he meant by it at the time. And you're right. I think he could have maybe dodged that in a better way. But saying you don't remember, that gives the doubters that, well, if you don't remember what he did then, if I don't remember what he did fucking last week, and he's not, you know, it starts putting doubts into people's minds about what he's actually thinking. Do you actually know what you're doing? And of course he does, but it's little things like that can add to the already not so good point we've already got at the moment. So we shall see.
Dinosaur saying then we have a ultra arrogant manager.
He's arrogant. I've said it before. I said you've got to have arrogance to be a top level manager, but there's I think you've also got to be able to have a little bit of, what's the word? The ability to know when you're wrong and admit that, and also the ability to change your mind about things. this is why I think there's a problem with Ange, in my opinion, at this moment in time. Because again, he was asked a question about over the last few games, how's it been as the pressure got to you, and he kind of, I think it was Alistair Gold that asked the question. He was like, "Yeah, I'm loving every minute of it, mate. Every single minute." You can't love every single minute of being a Premier League manager. It doesn't work like that. Because if you do, you just you guys say, "Oh, we don't care about results," and then it doesn't. No, I'm not having that.
Right, so we lost 4 on the bounce. We lost at Liverpool last week. We've had a week, almost 6 days of preparations and stuff like that. What do you feel? How do you think the mood is then at this precise moment in the camp? And don't forget as well, these players will have watched this press conference as well. So how do you think the mood is at this precise moment?
I would imagine the mood. To be honest, obviously I don't know. I'm gonna go from what I would imagine they're trying to do. They've had enough time now to get over that. They know they've lost 4 in a row. It's very unlikely a home game against Burnley should see you have a 5th in a row. But we all know that pressure does different things. Burnley are under pressure to get a result. It doesn't feel like a game that you want to go into when someone's got something on the line like they have.
Yeah.
To play for. But then again, it's Spurs. Sometimes when a club comes to us that hasn't got anything to play for, there's no pressure and they can play against them. I don't know, Sid. It all depends on the team he picks tomorrow. If we see pretty much that same lineup that we've seen for the last 3 or 4 games, and that I'm telling you about Emerson Royal at left back, there's going to be so many questions asked. Regardless if you win that game or not, there's going to be questions asked.
So then it is Burnley at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium tomorrow, 3 p.m. kickoff, which is quite unusual for us. Every now and then we get one. 17 meetings then. There's not been that many, to be fair. Spurs have won 11. Burnley have won 3.
Oh, don't do this to me.
Yeah. Tottenham have won 7 at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Guess how many Burnley have won?
0.
They've won 3 at their place, and we've won 4 with 3 draws. You know what's coming, don't you?
It can't, Sid.
I know it can't.
It can't happen.
It can't.
I know the players are pretty much not playing in terms of the Spurs players. They're playing for pride. They're playing for their futures. A lot of these players are playing for their futures because, like I said, as much as I've given Andrew a degree of grief this preview, also on the players. Some of these players just haven't performed, but they need help. I think Emerson Royal cannot play tomorrow. Sorry, he can't play tomorrow. He is probably going to play.
Right, so these are the last 5 meetings then between Tottenham and Burnley. 26th of October 2020 at Turf Moor. Spurs won 1-0. 8th of February 2021 at the Hotspur Stadium. Spurs won 4-0. 23rd of Feb 2022, Turf Moor. Spurs lost 1-0. 15th of May 2022, Spurs won 1-0 at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. And 2nd of September 2023 at Turf Moor. We all know Tottenham 5, Burnley 2. So the last 5 meetings, Sam, we've won 4 and we've lost 1.
Yep. So that Burnley team would have been, apart from the last result, would have been under Sean Dyche.
Yes.
Obviously, tougher manager in terms of the way he sets up, in terms of the way he plays now. The thing that we can say tomorrow's game is it should be an open game. It should be a pretty much. I'll say that if they've done their homework, they won't play in the same way that they're playing all seasons. However, Burnley have been doing that all season as well. Hence the reason why they're going to keep playing the same way. That's what they're going to do. So if they do that, it should help us. But fragile confidence. First goal, mate. First goal is so important tomorrow. I know it doesn't really make a difference to us because we seem to either score first, we don't score first, and then doesn't really result. seem to correlate. But tomorrow, I really think the first goal's going for the crowd's sake. If the crowd sees a goal going early from the opposition, I think it's going to be really toxic, potentially.
I'm going to get you a T-shirt. I'm going to have Paxton Road PRTvSpurs at the front right here. And at the back, I'm going to have first goal is really important.
I can't.
If
every day, every time.
That's what I'm saying. If someone clips every stream we've done, every time you've said first goal is really important. And how many times has that first goal come? Not a lot. So,
and that's what I'm saying. In the last few games, well, how many times? No, we've got a bad record recently in terms of not scoring first, and they've said that we've been losing at half time in. Is it the last 4 games? Potentially 5.
Yeah.
Well, then it gives us the information that if we don't score first and we're not winning at half time, or certainly not losing at half time, we don't go on to win games. And I'm trying to work out: is it just the stage of the season? Obviously, we know that players are out of form, and manager's under pressure, even though he doesn't want to admit that. And he's got to get the selection right tomorrow. And I'll be interested to see your team because that's what I want to see, fam.
You're gonna, you know what? I've got a little bit of I've got a trick. Right, last 5 meetings then at Tottenham. 27th of August 2017, Spurs 1, Burnley 1 under Pochettino. 15th of December 2018, Spurs won 1-0 again under Pochettino. 7th of December 2019, Spurs 5, Burnley 0 under Jose Mourinho. 28th of Feb 2021, Spurs 4, Burnley 0 under Jose. And 15th of May 2022, Spurs 1, Burnley 0. Guess who the manager was?
I'd like to know. Hold on a minute. Sorry, I'm lost on the screen here.
You are. You've done Elsa. You've frozen. Oh. You're back. You're right. You're good. Good. Who was the manager? Mr. Antonio Conte. So 1 draw, 4 wins at home. This is at home. So it's all good, right?
They've not won at our place. Won at our place, and we've won the last 4.
Yeah. And they've not scored a goal. They've scored 1 goal in 5 visits to Tottenham.
Why do we have to go through this with Spurs? Now it seems like, no, we can't win. I'm not going away from that. Yeah. We've got a good record against them. They're a team that struggled away from home this season predominantly. We've had a half-decent record-ish at home. I know it's not been great recently. So the odds will be in our favour, and we will start the bookies' favourites tomorrow, obviously. So we should be winning the game.
Yeah, well, we should be, but we say that a lot about a lot of things that happen in Tottenham, and it always comes back to biters. Right, so last 5 games then for each one. I mean, you know exactly what's going to come up for us. There we go. 4 losses. And
I like that style.
Say again?
I like that style. It all came up at once. That's nice. Yeah. I like that.
And then Burnley's last 5 are that. So we've lost 4, won 1. They've drawn 2, lost 2, won 1. I mean, we've said this many times. Last 5 games doesn't mean anything because sort of it depends on who you're playing, how you're playing, how they set up. However, this instance, I think this is going to be massive because we've not won in 4 games. And like you said, we need a win. We need to get back on track, and we need to get back on track tomorrow.
If you look at the level of opposition that we played in the last 4 games, particularly, Liverpool were obviously challenging for the league at the time. Chelsea were on a bit of a resurgence. They were obviously doing better. The last results have proven they won 5-0, I think, their last time out. Arsenal in the title challenge. Newcastle, obviously a top 6, top 8 team at the time. So the only real kind of like team in the lower end of the table was Forest. So if you look at it from that perspective, we've had tough games. However, there's been 1 home game which we should have turned up a bit more in, which was obviously the Arsenal game. And we've had 3 away games, away to Newcastle, away to Chelsea, away to Liverpool. We know what Chelsea's like. We know what Liverpool's like. And we've seen we can go to Newcastle, and it's not an easy place to go. So it's been tough. I'm not going to say it's not been tough. Don't get me wrong. But if you're a team that's in the top 5, going for top 4, you've got to be winning at least a couple more of them games, or at least not losing too many points.
Yeah. And they've obviously massive game at Everton, so they lost 1-0. They drew with Brighton. Again, Brighton are hit and miss. You don't know what's coming out with them. Sheffield United, they won 4-1. So that was like a battle of the relegation to bottom 2. Man United, like you said, Man United or Man United, end of. And then they got beat 4-1 at home to Newcastle. So they got thumping by Newcastle as well. So it's interesting one tomorrow. So the season then, as it stands, Spurs are 5th, they're 19th, 18 wins for us, 5 for them, 6 draws, they've drawn 9, we've lost 11, they've lost 22. Goals scored per match 1.97 to 1.08. Average goals conceded 166. Tottenham 2.06 for Burnley. 6 clean sheets, they've kept 2. 2.31 chances created by Spurs, 1.17 by Burnley. Their biggest win is 5-0, ours is 4-0. Our biggest defeat is 4-0, theirs is 5-0. So 22 losses they've had, Sam, and average goal scored 1.08, and they're creating 1.17 chances per match. And you're coming to Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Honestly, Sam, it should be a foregone conclusion, shouldn't it, really?
We're deep into this season, as I've said before. When you get in 35 games in, these stats can obviously correlate to pretty much what your season is. And we're under 2 goals now. We've been around a 2.5 up to at some point in the season. But it's the goals conceded per match that's the worrying thing for me. Yeah. 1.66 is closer to 2 than it is to 1, obviously. Yeah. And they've got pretty much 2 goals. So again, what are we going to get out of this? And the record in terms of our goals conceded have been bad in the last, I would say, from January onwards, pretty much. I think we've kept 1 clean sheet, someone said, in 25 games.
Yeah, there you go. Says it all, doesn't it? Says it all. Goal scorers win your leagues. Defenders also win your leagues by keeping clean sheets. And
they say goal scorers win you games. Defenses win you titles.
Exactly. And that's the difference with Arsenal when we've done the preview show with them. They know how to keep a clean sheet. And if you keep a clean sheet, you know what I mean? You keep that clean sheet, then you're not losing that game.
But the thing is, there's some managers, and we can probably use an example, Sam Allardyce. He always used to say, his theory was, if the opposition do not score and we can keep a clean sheet, you cannot lose the game. It's an obvious thing. And if you could nick a result by one, but we don't go out to nick results. That's not his philosophy. That's not his way. That's not his plan of action. So we have to understand that it is I'm not going to say a gung-ho approach, but it's an attacking approach based on his philosophy. I've always said, and I'm going to keep on saying it, people might get bored of it, our whole system relies on quality throughout. There was a 4-4-2 tactical breakdown of what Ange is and they went and said, this is why it worked in the first 10 games, and this is why it's not working now. He knows all of this, and the first comment from Dino was ultra arrogance. We'll see if he's ultra arrogant. If he doesn't change anything in terms of personnel for the end of the season, then we'll know who he is, because we should be seeing somebody else at left back tomorrow.
So, talking of which, the pot you've been looking forward to then. This is the team news. Now, let me just tell you, he said the same players are out that have been out and are out for the rest of the season. And he said there's no injury concerns from the game that we lost to Liverpool 4-2. However, he was asked about Ollie Skip and whether he's going to start in the left back position. And he said, well, he didn't sort of answer it in a way. But from what me and my son gathered, Ollie Skip will be starting at left back tomorrow, because he said we've been practicing this, that, the other. So I think this is what I think he will go with, yeah?
Go ahead. Let me see
Vicario,
this.
Ollie Skip at left back, Romero, and Van der Ven back five. I think he goes with that tomorrow because Ollie Skip done more in that 20 minutes than Emerson has done in his whole career or all season at Spurs. And I think they highlighted it on, I can't remember where they highlighted it, but I saw it on some the way on, I think Match of the Day, I think it was the way Ollie Skip was commanding, natural, doing what a left back should be doing, winning the ball, doing this, that, the other. So they've done that. So I'm assuming, I think he starts with that back five. I don't know if you agree or disagree, but what you think?
Is okay. So I've said this before. We play with a left back that doesn't really need to be a left back. It needs to be more better on the ball in terms of the position that we play, inverted, if people want to use that phrase. So he should be in a game where you're going to have, and we have had more possession in most of the games that we played this season. I would say probably 80-90% of that. We should have more of the ball tomorrow in terms of the overall game. You would expect then that being the case, Skip should be more in midfield and having less defensive work to do. But we also know that other teams, every single team that's played us, bar none, I don't think. I can't remember any team that's not had an opportunity to score goals. And what I'm saying is they've always had shots at goal, shots on target. We haven't. I don't recall the last time we got to play the team where they didn't have a shot on target against us. We don't have shots on target on the first half, but it seems the other teams do. So, is this going to work tomorrow? It's probably it's better for us as the fans, but Ollie Skip's not really a left back. So if he has to do a lot of defending, it might be problematic because he's not left-footed. He's right-footed. And that could be a problem on that side. So again, it's a good, if he does that, then we're not seeing Emerson Royal because he can't play. But what's happened to the youngsters? Where are they? Why can't we play a youngster at left back?
Yeah, absolutely. Under 21 is one of them because now they've obviously they had a game last week, so they couldn't get him in. But yes, they're available now tomorrow, so it'll be interesting. Midfield three, then I've gone with Basuma, Maddison, and Saw because I think that's what he will start with. Because Bentancur had a mare last week, so I don't see him starting him. There's a shout for Lo Celso or Kulu to go in the middle, but I think he'll go with these three.
Well, Maddison hasn't started the last two games, so he's probably going to be starting tomorrow's game. I would imagine his attitude, if he's the player that he keeps saying he's this really big balls and he likes all the pressure, he likes all that, he should have been performing in training this week to show the manager, yeah, I'm that player. He's also playing for his England place. Don't forget that in the Euros. And if he doesn't play these last few games, that's going to put a question mark on his ability to start for England. I don't think he's a start for England anyway, but yes, certainly there's a lot of pressure in midfield there. I think there's a shout potentially. I think there's a shout potentially for Pierre-Emile Højbjerg to start the game tomorrow. I'm not been. People have said different things about Basuma in terms of he's been playing better, but he hasn't been playing at the level I expect, and I expect a lot higher than that. So again, I'd rather see a midfield that has fight and spirit in there because we are going to need to have that tomorrow. The one thing that we know that Burnley are going to have to do tomorrow is fight because they know it's not a game that they should be winning. The equaliser is show the spirit, heart, everything. That's an equaliser in football at this level.
I totally agree. Under 21s, I've got a big game on Sunday, so that rules quite a lot of them. Jews Nazi saying here, what Højbjerg tomorrow better he comes on at half time. Right.
Sorry, just Jews. I'm not saying that Højbjerg is a better player than Basuma. I would hope that he's not because Basuma has been touted as being a very, very potentially very good player, but he hasn't shown that. In my opinion, for the last few games when he started. I also think that Sar's dropped off slightly, and if they are going to play with Basuma, I think he's better playing with alongside somebody as a two if he's going to play that number 6 role. Because we're playing at home, because we're likely to be having a lot more of the ball, I think he's probably going to be that lone player, and Sar and whoever's playing alongside Sar Maddison, I don't know what that midfield three is going to look like. They'll probably be the 8s in the game. So Basuma, and I said that last week, Basuma doesn't strike me as being a number 6 that wants to be there. He doesn't look like he wants to play that position on his own. Doesn't look like it to me.
Yeah. Front three then, I've gone with Johnson, Richarlison and Son.
should pick itself. That's got to be the front three tomorrow.
Yeah, it's got to be. Now,
Kulusevski should be starting this game tomorrow, in my opinion.
Now, you're gonna like this one, Sam. You're really gonna like this one. This is what I think he's gonna go with. Yeah, this is the team.
Oh, so this is yours. This is your team.
Now look at this is my now. This is what I would want him to play, and please,
okay.
I would love it. I would love it because there's a lot of people crying out for this particular person to play in this particular role, and this is what I think. Yeah, this is what I want.
Not going to happen. I know what you're going to do.
Wait, what am I going to do?
No. I thought you were going to put Van der Ven at left back and put Dragusin in, but no, you haven't. Sorry, apologies.
Hold on, is Richie out? DevTech is saying Richie's out. I don't think he is.
You didn't say that. Well, I didn't.
You didn't say that in the press conference. No, you didn't.
Right.
So I don't know where you've heard that one, Dev, but it definitely right. So, okay, Vicario in goal, Skip on the left, Porro on the right, Dragusin at right centre back, Van der Ven
back
in
three.
the left centre back,
Gotcha.
Romero holding the 6th role, Lo Celso, Maddison, Johnson, Son, Richarlison. There's a lot of people crying out for Romero to be tried in this 6th role. Yeah, because he does like to, I would love this team. If he does this tomorrow, I will be so happy. Because this looks fucking, this 5 attacking players, man. 5 attacking players. Yeah, with Romero.
Right. So Romero, again, the slight issue is the position that you're going to be receiving the ball. When you're a centre back playing, you're going to receive the ball from the sides or from the goalkeeper from kickoff, and you're going to be more an angle as opposed to back to goal. If you're playing the 6, more often than not, you're going to have to be scanning shoulder with your back to goal and receiving the ball to then play out. Is that Romero's strength? I don't know. I think he's better when he's looking forward and he can play the balls and he can go and travel with the ball. But 6 is such a specialist position. If he hasn't done it all season for us, I'm not sure they would be trying it now. What I would do, though, is push him back in to make that back 3 and then go for a 5 at the back, 5-3-2 or 5, what is it, 5-2-1-2, does that make sense? 5-3-2?
Now, the whole point of this one, I was thinking, is when we're defending, we can either defend as a 2 with Van der Ven and Dragusin, or if we need to, we can play 3 of them at the back, and then we put Porro and Skip out wide, and then Maddison's going to drop deep a lot anyway, because he's been doing that a hell of a lot, yeah? So, I think, and then Lo Celso, obviously, and then we just cause havoc up top. It's not going to happen, but there's a lot of people crying out for it, so, you know what? I would love it. It'd be a good shout because Dragusin then gets in to come in at right. We can play as a 3 at the back if we need to. We can go to a 4. We can go to a 5. Options are there. Even Sam, Skip can come into the 6th role. Van der Ven can go left. Romero can drop in. You see what I mean? Options are there for however he wants to do it. He's not going to do it.
Not sure. I can't see that at all, mate. He's already said that he's got his way of playing and he's loving it. So why would he suddenly just revert to that? He's loving the season. He's going to play the same 4-3-3 in the way that we've said. The only decisions he's got to make is who plays tomorrow. We're going to see the same way of playing. So whoever plays at left back is going to do exactly the same. Whoever plays on the right back, it should be Porro. It's the midfield for me. Who's going to start there?
There you go. You're a spoiled sport, you are. Honestly. I was so enthusiastic and I was so, yes, come on, let's do it.
No, Sid, That's what we would do. I would
I
love
know.
to see Romero play in that role because you're right, he can drop into the back three. But what that does, if he does drop into the back three more often than not, you're going to have two players in midfield. The two players in midfield, if they are Maddison and let's say it's Sarr, both of which I wouldn't say Maddison's defensive qualities of that because you have to be more defensive as well as attacking if you're going to have just two midfielders because you're basically saying it's two midfielders. Romero wouldn't necessarily. Well, it might. I don't know. I'd like to see how that works.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I've tried Googling it. Richie is out, but I've not heard anything. And I would have heard Sean would have said something as well. And plus, it would have been on Twitter, and it's not. So it'll be interesting. It'll be very interesting. So going into tomorrow's game, Sam, this is the league table as it stands. Arsenal, Man City are going to shoot it out for the first two. Liverpool are guaranteed third. Aston Villa, 36 games, 67 points. Spurs, 35 games, 60 points. Still in with a shout, but I don't know. Aston Villa go to Liverpool. Liverpool go to Villa on Monday. So potentially we can... Well, I'm not even going to go there because we've been saying this for a while. Newcastle, 35, 56 points. So they 4 points behind us. They potentially could. Chelsea on 54 points on 35 games as well. So it's like you said at the beginning, I think, really, our season's just fizzled out now, hasn't it? Because we're not, realistically, we're not going to catch Aston Villa, are we?
No. Realistically, we've got, one game behind them with 7 points. Nah, we're not catching them. 3 games left. That means they'd have to lose all those games pretty much, and that's not going to happen, I don't believe. Well, they've only got 2 games left. Are they going to lose 2 games in the trot? Who are they playing? I don't know.
They got Liverpool.
Yeah, potentially. But we'd have to win all 3 of our games. We don't want to win all 3 of our games, do we?
No. This is
we
it.
don't want to be beaten. I'm saying that tongue in cheek. We don't really want to be beating City on Tuesday.
Oh.
I say that. We shouldn't really be saying that. No. We should be looking to win all our games for the rest of the season, but that's the only way we're going to do that. But that means beating Manchester City on Tuesday.
Yeah. Okay. So Brazil coach is saying Richarlison has not been called up for the Copa America due to fresh injury he has suffered. He's not available. He had new injury, and this is why he's not in the list. But Richarlison has Postecoglou hasn't confirmed anything, so I don't know. It'll be an interesting one.
If that's the case, and there's rumours going on, I don't think he's going to start then.
Yeah, and the Athletic are reporting it as well. He's out for the rest of the season.
And that's probably why. I don't think Andrew wants to lie to anybody. I don't think he was asked that direct question today with her. But he said there's no fresh
He said no fresh injuries. That's right. He said no fresh injuries.
So maybe he is lying.
So we shall see. We shall see. We shall see. Juice Nuts is saying that last formation, even the dog in the background is loving that last formation. Even the dog in the background is loving that back formation. Right. So that time then, Sam, it's got to be done. Let's do the the score prediction for tomorrow. People in the comment section, please. What are you thinking? What's your heart saying? What's your head saying? Is it heads gone, or are Spurs going to come back? Is it going to be 5 on the bounce, or are we actually now going to get a win finally back at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium? Juice Nuts is straight in 2-1 to Burnley, not 2-1 to Tottenham. Sam, what are you saying?
2-1. I think that's a fair scoreline. I think there's a lot of pressure for both teams. I think the fact that we're at home, the fact that we should be favourites to win that game tomorrow. I think we should win it, but it's not going to be comfortable. I don't think it's going to be a comfortable game, and I think we're going to be a little bit. We got through that one, but possibly 2-1.
Roachy Baby is saying 4-1 to Spurs. Dinosaur is saying 3-1 to Spurs. The other thing I was going to say,
but if Richarlison is out, where's our goals coming from? Effectively, I know that Richarlison's been out for a while, and we have Son's not been on. That means Son will have to play number 9 tomorrow potentially.
Yeah, and it'll be Kulu on the right, Johnson on the left.
We've all said that's not worked.
It's going to work, is
It's
it?
not work.
No, it's not going to work. But then, do you know what? Mikey Moore, bring him on. Bring him.
Yeah.
But he's not going to. Yeah. You got Gill, but again, it's Burnley might. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So we're if Richarlison is out, we've got a problem because Johnson don't like playing on the left, and it looks like he will end up playing on the left.
You know what? It's quite an issue because we have been struggling in terms of, like I said, getting shots on target in that first half, and that's been based on around those teams. So what makes us think it's going to be any different tomorrow? Is it the pressure? Well, the pressure should have been on them to win games before that, when we were playing Arsenal, when we were playing Chelsea, when we were playing Liverpool. Those are big games. These are supposed to be big game players. We're playing Burnley at home with nothing really to play for apart from pride. Why should they go over and above what they have done previously to get the result tomorrow? I can't see it from just a normal footballing perspective, particularly if you haven't got all the pieces that you want to play. And as we've maintained, we're going to play the same way regardless. If we're going to play the same way regardless, we're going to have Johnson. If we have Johnson on the left and Kulu on the right, there's not enough pace for Kulu on the right, and Johnson doesn't play as well on the left as he does on the right. Son's been struggling with back to goal in a number 9. It's going to be interesting with team selection tomorrow, pal.
It's going to be very interesting. Yeah, it's. Do you know what? It's, if it is true that Richie's not there, then I think there will be a problem. And like you said, Burnley are not their physical team. They like to rough it up a little bit, and it's whether. But then again, the Son likes to play against Burnley, doesn't he? He likes to play against Burnley, but not as a number 9. That's the problem, isn't it? So.
Yeah. With Vincent Company as well, they've got somebody in the manager who's, although he's inexperienced, he's got his methods, he's got his philosophy, he's got that, and I like that. I appreciate that, obviously, with the same flange. But what he has, which is a little bit different, he's had a recent playing career, and he knows what to expect from players. What players should be giving. He's a winner, and I've seen everybody's seen that clip where he's giving them players a right bollocking. You know, I expect them to come out with fight, because that's what Vincent Company was about. He was about fight and spirit, determination, hence the reason why he was a successful captain at Manchester City. Now,
the other option, and Dinosaurs put in an option, the other option, you play Son on the left, you play Johnson on the right, and you go with Kulu as a false 9. That could potentially work.
Why? Kulu, does he strike you? I don't know.
So let me put it this way. Kulu's shit on the right. He's not doing anything, right? If you put your naturally right-footed player in Johnson on your right, Son's not doing that well as a number 9. So you put him on the left where he's more influential and more attacking. Then you just let Kulu as a false 9. You probably mix it around, don't you? And then you got Lascelles, so you got Maddison as well, and so potentially, I know he's not going to do it, but that way you got a natural left-sided player, a natural right-sided player, and a player who's out of form playing wherever he wants as a false number 9, because he's been giving the fans false performances.
Yeah, but what you're then asking Kulu to do is to play. That would be at least his 3rd position that he's played this season.
Yeah.
So he's not been playing that one on the right. He's done okay as a number 10 or number 8, whatever you want to call it for us. Now we're going to try potentially if he can play as a striker. It's pretty much a specialist role, and if someone like Son, who's had experience there, isn't performing as well, I don't know. Yeah, there's a bit more height, possibly a bit more physicality about Kulu, but has he got the same ability as Son to score goals in that way? I don't think so. I think you'd go if Richarlison's not playing, it will be the front 3 as we've talked about.
Yeah.
Johnson on the wrong side, Kulu on the wrong side, and Son in the wrong position.
Yeah. It'll be the wrong. Yeah, it'll be the wrong 3 up front. Yeah, 100%. We'll find out at 2:00 tomorrow, because Tottenham fans do like to get surprises an hour before kickoff when the teams are announced. We've done it against Arsenal. We've done it before. So no doubt, and we've done it against Liverpool. So no doubt come 2 o'clock, there's going to be a lot of people going, oh, for fuck's sake, what's he done? But let's see.
But okay, if he does make all those changes, in a sense, that would kind of conflict with what he's been doing all season. He's been very stubborn in his approach. He's always maintained and playing. Well, we've said, why is he playing him on the right? Why is he playing Kulu on the... So if he then goes and says, well, I'm going to switch them all and I'm going to play Kulu as a false nine, I'm going to play Johnson on the right and Son on the left, that'll be a real change from what he's been doing. I want to see that change, but why hasn't that been done before? It's almost like it's been pressured into doing that. And again, I don't want to have to feel like my manager's kind of, can't in a position where I'm changing only because they've told me to and the fans are no. Make the decisions because it's the best for the tactical element of the football team. We know we've seen Johnson play on the right. He's better on that side. Play him there. Kulu on the left, I'm not quite so sure. Son on the left, yeah, I'm more happy with that. Now the front position, have we got a striker in our midst in the squad other than Son and Richarlison?
Scarlett.
He ain't playing though. Why? He should have been playing. He's not even come on a subsid.
So why can't you play? Oh no, because under 21s, isn't it? If they've got an important game, then he won't be available.
But the under 21 shouldn't take precedence over the first team.
Yeah, but they're doing well, aren't they? They're in the cup final, and I think. But then again, they've won the league, haven't they?
It shouldn't take precedence over. If you're told as a under 21, you're now going to be called up to the actual first team.
Yeah,
you should be like, I don't really business. I'm playing for the first team.
It's
the same if you're playing for England under 21s, and then Gareth Southgate says, "Oh, I want you to come and play." Oh, you know what? No, I fancy that because we've got semi-final there. You ain't going to say that. You're going to say, "I want to play," because you want to prove yourself. You want to be playing in the first team. This is the whole point of it. Yeah. So, fuck Sunday if they've got a game. In my opinion, if you need to have a player that's available, and if Mikey Moore or Scarlett is the option that you should be playing because we have no other option, let's do it. But we're not doing that at left back. We haven't done it in midfield. We haven't seen Dorrington. We haven't seen any of these youngsters. Why? Everybody else seems to have.
Yeah, and I think if Richarlison is out, you've got to bring in Scarlett. Otherwise, what was the point of bringing him back from Ipswich? He brought him back because he weren't getting game time. So let's give him game time at Tottenham. He's about 5 minutes in the FA Cup, and I think he's had a minute somewhere else. So if Richarlison is out for the rest of the season, then bring him in. Why not? He's a natural striker. You bring him in, and then you put Son on the left.
Do you know if we did a false nine, who I think would be a better false nine in that position, in my opinion? I think Maddison would be a better than bring yourself away from there. Because Maddison kind of, sometimes you see him, they play the two, and Maddison's always one of the furthest up front, and he seems to play in that position. I know it's based on the rotation, but if you're going to do that, what that does is give you two options, gives you two different things. It gives you the extra body in midfield if you need it, because he can drop back and help. The false nine, we've seen Man City play when they use someone like Foden in there. You know, Foden's not per se a number 9, but he's a very good footballer, so he can do all that. I'm saying the same thing about Maddison, although I've got a little bit more of as he's as good as I thought he was, but he certainly has more talent. So play him as that false 9, but bring Lo Celso in. Don't play Sarr, Basuma, and Pierre Højbjerg, and if you're going to play him as a 9, because it's not creative enough.
Yeah. My prediction then for tomorrow. Oh, you got Lancashire over Dane, but again, are they going to? We know what's going. You've just said it. They're not going to do it. So, my prediction then, I would love to say we're going to keep a clean sheet, because if we can't keep a clean sheet,
I would love it.
Yeah, I would love it, but we can't keep clean sheets at all at the moment, can we? No matter what. And if we can't keep one against Burnley tomorrow, then that just sums it up for me. So, I would love it, but I just got a funny feeling again that we're not going to keep a clean sheet. I think it'll be 3-1.
If we don't keep a clean sheet, sorry to interrupt you. If we don't keep a clean sheet tomorrow, can you see us keeping a clean sheet against City?
No.
And then we go into Sheffield United on the last day of the season, having a party up there because they're down. Can you see us keeping a clean sheet in that game?
No. We're not keeping clean sheets. Yeah, exactly.
So 1 in 25 doesn't give you any confident that we're going to have the next game that we're playing to have a clean sheet in a
Exactly.
team that they have to win and we're under a bit of pressure. I think it's going to be a tight game, and I think we are going to win. But we're not going to be. I at this moment in time, I can't see us being like, yeah, we're back. Yeah, that's it. It's a 7-1. Yeah, Tottenham. Oh, it's a bit. Nah, it's going to be tight, and we're going to see what Andrew's made of. If Richarlison's not available, and if he plays Emerson at back, if those two things happen in terms of Richarlison not playing, he plays Johnson on the left as opposed to the right, and he plays, let's say, Son as a number 9, and then Kulu on the left, then I think he's, as Dino said, that arrogance is going to come back to haunt him.
100%. And tomorrow's game, it could go two ways. We could absolutely hammer them, yeah, because they need to go all out attack. They're running out of games big time. They need results. So if that T-shirt that you're going to be wearing, if we go early on, then I can see us comfortably winning 4, maybe 4 by 4 goals. The longer it goes, it gets a little bit harder. Then we might end up winning it by 1 goal, or we could even lose it by the odd goal. Depends. So it all depends on ifs and maybes, but it all, most importantly, what you said, it all depends on how we start off the first 15-20 minutes, how Burnley set up. Because like you said, every single manager has already looked at how Tottenham set up. They know this is the way, one way or another. We're going to find you. We're going to find you. And it's one dimension, one, it's, you know, that's how it is. Yeah.
So I'll add this. If Burnley changed their game, which if I was Vincent Kompany, I would go to I'd look at the blueprint of the lot, and I know that it's probably better players than the other teams, obviously. But we've seen obviously other teams like Wolves. We've even seen Forest give us, you know what I mean? It's been tougher than we expected. You know, give us a bit more, because Forest, remember that game against Forest? They should have been winning that game.
Yeah.
Chris Woods missed that sitter, literally sitter, and they would have been winning that game.
Yeah.
And that would have put a different perspective on that Forest result. Now, if Vincent Kompany's got anything about him, he should be looking at all the stats. They don't seem to be scoring a lot in the first half, lads. They don't seem to be getting shots off a goal. So let's keep it tight. Let's play off transition. If we keep it 0 at half time, the fans are not going to be on their side.
Exactly.
Because you know what it's like at that stadium when we get, oh, come on, Spurs. It's not a... When we're behind the team, we're behind the team. When we're not behind the team,
we're not behind the team. Yes.
And
yes,
you've had 4 bad results on the trot. All it takes is another, oh, fucking hell, that's another goal gone in. And I know what can happen potentially. And if Vincent Kompany's got anything about him, he will know this and he will set up accordingly and try to get that first goal, lads, and let's play off transition. And it will be a tough game. And
the other thing as well is that Take That song, innit? Everything changes but you, because Postecoglou never changes, does it? So they might as well play that tomorrow when they're coming out. Everything changes but you. The other thing I was going to just mention before,
they could play the film on the screen. Groundhog Day. That's what they could also do.
Exactly.
Bill Murray. See Bill Murray.
Bill Murray. And the other thing before we just wrap up now, they're doing the lap of honour tomorrow after the game. But it's not the last home game of the season. Why are you doing it tomorrow, not on Tuesday when we play Man City?
Because you don't want to be doing a lap of honour against City when they've probably pumped us.
I tell you why. And this is what I said to my boy. Tomorrow, it's Burnley. Let all the players bring their wives, their girlfriends, their mistresses, their kids, whatever they want. On Tuesday, I want every single one of them seats filled with paying Tottenham fans who are going to bring in loads of money for me. That's the reason why. Because why would you? It's not the last home game. Why would you do it on a penultimate home game? Absolutely, I tell you, crazy.
Sid, because I think I don't even think it's the wives and girlfriends thing. I think it's the fact that it's City we're playing.
Yeah.
And in all honesty, what's the likelihood of us winning that game at this moment in time? Hand on heart, we're not going to win that game.
Of course we're not.
And if we get pumped, I really mean pumped, who's going to want to come out and just want to be no fans left?
Yeah. True. Anyway, that's Spurs versus...
And one more thing, it's an evening game as well. It's the last game, home game,
Yeah,
an evening game, so people
I
are going
think
to want to get off anyway. So
I think that's what it
probably
is.
why.
I agree
That's
with you.
probably what it is. Yeah,
And I think it's because it's Saturday, kids are going to be coming, there'll be more kids around. And
yeah. That's
yeah,
it.
yeah.
100%.
So that's the Spurs v Burnley. However, there's one massive, very important game on Sunday happening at Wembley Stadium. Tottenham Hotspur ladies are playing Manchester United in the WFA Cup final. Brilliant the way they got on penalties, beating Leicester in the semi-finals. So from all of us at PRTvSpurs, come on, you ladies, you've got to the final. One more game, and bring that FA Cup back to Tottenham and show the boys this is how you win the FA Cup. So come on, Tottenham ladies, go out there, and as Jews Nut says, up the Spurs. Best of luck to the Spurs ladies. Give them hell at Wembley Stadium, ladies. Come on, get that cup. Right.
I agree. 100%.
Yeah. Right. So that's the preview done. Thank you to everyone in the comment section. Thank you for all your comments and thank you for your score predictions. Sam, massive thank you to you as well, as always. Roll on 2 o'clock tomorrow when the meltdown begins, when the team news is coming out. And then roll on 5 o'clock when the meltdown potentially begins or not begins. We don't know, depending on the result. But all I'm going to say is the boys that are going to be wearing that white shirt tomorrow, and I've said it all along, go and play for that badge. You've lost 4 games on the trot, a record which nobody wants, the fans, the players, or the manager. Go out there, get that win. Yes, it's Burnley, but I don't care who you're playing. Tottenham need to get back on the winning ways, and we need to start winning again, because them lot down the road, we've become a banter club, man. Banter club. Yeah, and as Jews Nut says, play for the badge, you knobs.
Jeez, why would they play for the badge now?
I know.
They should have been playing for the badge against Arsenal, against Chelsea, against Newcastle, and against Liverpool, and they didn't do that. I don't understand why, but yeah, they've got to play for more than the badge tomorrow. They've got to play for their careers at Spurs. Some of them are playing for their careers at Spurs.
Yeah. This is it. Ben Davies apparently has been told he can leave in the summer. So yeah, absolutely. So we will see. We'll have some
uncomfortable conversations.
Uncomfortable
Part 103, as Jew said.
Yes, we will be doing, and I think after you've done this, after the season's finished, and if you want to do it as a talking point, or I might do it as a Sid says, should I stay or should I go?
Yeah,
if you say there'll be trouble.
Let's do a combination of both. A Sid
Yes.
says talking points. That's what it will be called. A Sid says talking points.
Absolutely. Should he stay or should he go? If he stays, Angie's in trouble. So let's see what happens.
Let me ask you a question. If,
go for it,
let's say the unthinkable happens and we lose tomorrow.
Yep.
And we then lose on
Tuesday.
And then go into that last game of the season against Sheffield United and potentially don't win that game. Let's say we draw it.
Yeah.
How do you think the fans, and I'm talking about all the fans, the ones that are I can't believe wanting him to stay, because I don't want him gone, and I'm not going to advocate that. But what I'm saying is it puts him under a lot of strain for the transfer window, and we already know that it's going to be limited, and then for the beginning of next season, if we're going to be in Europe as well. What do you think is going to be the word on the streets?
I said we could end up losing all 7 games when we had 7 games left. We've lost 4 of them already. I said City were not going to win, so that's 5. I said going to Sheffield United at the last game of the season, they've lost. They're going to be playing for Pride Power. We could end up losing that. Tomorrow's game is the most important one for me because we need to win. But going back to your question, if we lose every single game, you're going to get the toxic fans. You've already got them. That one, Ange out. some of them becomes massive for Postecoglou, absolutely massive, because he keeps going on about, I want to challenge for the title. I want to challenge for the title. So the summer becomes, I think, one of the most important summers in the last 5 to 10 years for me, because you potentially could have lost 7 games on the bounce. You're there as a manager. You're playing one way, the way you want to play, high line, and you're not going to change that. You then have to go and get all your players, and Daniel Levy, we're going to have an uncomfortable conversation with him to say, oh, and I think the fans, I think fans will turn, but I'm still Ange in. The problem is, he done well at the beginning. We had the injuries, we've had whatever, we've had a drop in form. Give the man the opportunity. I said it before, he's got until next season. At least we've got to give him next season, because this is just like a trailer. Next season is the full movie, and let's see how good he really is with the players that he gets in. The fans are going to be the fans. The fans are going to be the fans. You know, Sam, when it can, we were probably one of the most toxic fans in the Prem, and we'll turn on our own if we have to. So
the reason why I asked that question is, I think if you take out the first 10 games of the season and you go over a 25-game season, I might have got this stat wrong, but someone said we would be 16th potentially. And it might be a short period. It might be 15 games, but I'm looking at 25 games since the turn of the Chelsea game. Now, if that's correct, and someone in the comments, if you know if it's over 25 games or less, and we are 16th at this moment in time, another 3 losses on top of that, surely that puts us into relegation form. And if you just take out them first 10, and now what Andrew said is we've got a lot of improvement to make. But hell, we know that. But there's no manager, I think, can lose 7 games, and just be like, yeah, I'm good, I'm comfortable. I'm good. And he seems to think he's good. He seemed to say that for the first 60 minutes of that Liverpool game, we were okay. We were shocking.
We shocking.
The delusion might increase. And I don't want to see a Ten Hag situation at Spurs. Don't want to see it.
Yeah, 100%. I agree. And that arrogance is going to have to come out, because 7 on the bounce, there's a problem, serious problem. And as Philip Hewitt said, if that is the case, then what is on the playlist for Spurs this weekend? I'll tell you now, if we don't win that game, when that 90 minutes is finished and the final whistle blows, it should be, okay, now go. Walk out that door. You're not welcome anymore. Because they can fuck right out of that club. Because if you're not going to turn up for Burnley, then they can walk straight out that door at the end of the season. And certain players, we have already mentioned throughout the season, can go right fuck out that door and not come back, because I don't think the fans are going to take it. And I don't think any fucker will hang around. Sorry for calling them that, but I don't think any fans, if they lose tomorrow, they'll be walking around to an empty stadium, or a few fans. Because remember, every other team, when they do their walkouts, they're actually next to the fans walking around. They hand their shirts out. They do whatever. If you've noticed, we don't do that anymore. We walk on the pitch. We don't even walk around the stadium. We walk on the pitch, walking around, not even getting anywhere near the fans, not giving anything. Because him up there, being the whatever he is, he's not allowing the players to do anything like that. And you're telling me people have paid good money to come and watch this Spurs team. It's the end of the season, and the players can't even be bothered just to walk around, actually on the touchline, walking around, even if they have to clap a few people's hands, clap them, hold them, shake their hands, hand the shirt out, shorts out, boots out, or whatever. Mark my words, that will not happen tomorrow.
There's a comment there from Jews. He said, we don't know if Levy is having a wobble and having doubts. I think he has to be. He has to be having some sort of, because this business at the end of the day, they've already said, if you don't qualify for Champions League, there's an X amount of money that's not available to you. So playing in Europe is important for us, but playing in the conference is going to be different than playing in the Europa League, which is different from playing in the Champions League. So every point kind of counts. And if you then lose the last 3 games, then you potentially then go to Conference League, or potentially not even be in Europe at all, that'd be 2 seasons out of Europe, potentially. The pressure will be massively on. But
the thing is, Levy can't take the plaudits when in the first 10 games when Ange was doing really well. Now that they're not doing well, I'm going to push the button and get him out. No, you got to take the rough with the smooth, yeah? And
Of course he would
in
have
the
to.
summer, you bought this manager in because he had other options. You bought him in. You now fucking need to back him in the summer.
So this is where Daniel Levy or someone from the board, like what Arsenal did, has to come out and say, regardless, we are sticking by our manager. That gives him the confidence. Every single time Daniel Levy has not said anything, he goes by public opinion, and the fans will sway that. The fans will make that bad for him.
Absolutely.
He would need to come out in some form of press conference, whatever it is, or even just a statement to say we are 100% behind Ange. Whether he believes it or he's going to stick by it, I don't know. But he has to say something like that. If we have a bad end, which we've already had a bad end to the season, if we have a worse end to the season than I'm predicting, he'd need to come out and do that. If not, we're going to be in a cycle of events that we've seen before.
Watching the United press conference today, Ten Hag, on Sky, and they were asking him some mad questions, and he turned around and said, "Why are you asking me that question? Ask the board that question. I don't have the answer. You will have to speak to the board, so don't ask me that question because I cannot answer it." But they asked him again. He went, "Ask the board. Go and speak to them. They have the answers. I don't, and I can't comment on that because I'm not going to make the decisions." Same with Postecoglou. Daniel Levy will have to be accountable for hiring him, firing him, giving him the budget to go and buy players. This bullshit about Champions League budget, Europa League budget, I guarantee you, Postecoglou wasn't told this when he signed the contract. I'm going to give you a Champions League budget or I'm going to give you a Europa League budget. Mate, if you want the best players at your club, you need to have a budget, not a Europa League a Europa budget, a Champions League budget, and a Conference League budget, because you're not going to get them players. And next season, that title challenge, it ain't going to be a title challenge because you've got Europa Conference League players budget, not a Champions League budget to try and get you into the Champions League next year. So I don't buy into this bullshit about your Europa League, Conference League budgets. You fucking got a budget. Fair, according to the FFP, we're in the lead over other clubs because we've got a lot of money to play around with. Fucking spend that money now. You know Postecoglou wants his players for his system. You want it to work. You want to make money. You want to be title challengers. Fucking back him and give him the money to go and buy that A category player, not a fucking D category player. You know what I mean? And then have the same conversation again next year. Oh, but bollocks to that.
That is spot on. And I was just going to add to that, there will need to be now talking points for the uncomfortable conversations. Part 7, the summer budget. That's what I think it needs to be titled because
exactly.
It's going to be a strong one. It's going to be a strong one.
Absolutely. Yes. And I'm going to get more animated as we get along. Sorry, this is supposed to be a preview show, but we've sort of gone into a little bit more about it. But
what we should do with us fucking 4 games on the trot, Sim.
Exactly.
We can't just be like, oh, yeah, let's go. We can't.
Exactly.
I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that at all. No way.
Exactly. Meltdowns need to happen. And eventually we will freaking have a meltdown. Anyway, thank you, Sam. Thank you to everybody in your comment section once again. Thank you. Hope wherever you are in the world, you're watching the game tomorrow. And as always, we're hoping for a Spurs win. We're back on track. And I'll say it now, and I'll say it week in at the end of every single show. Come on, you Spurs!
Develop